Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today for what I believe is the 9th war video of season 39. Today GT40 is facing Salty. I've got 12 fights today, which I believe is my biggest ever war in GT40. And I'm bringing in a team of Dr. Doom, Nick Fury and Symbiote Supreme. Doom and Nick are going to be doing the majority of the fights, and then I've got Sim Supreme versus the Null Boss. So this first fight up is Man-Thing on node 2, using Dr. Doom, and this is like the usual Doom versus Man-Thing strategy, just cycle special 1s, special 2s. As you can see, we're not doing great at that. Man-Thing ended up using a special, putting the pustule on us, and then while we're waiting it out, we hit him with Dexterity active, it turned into another pustule, and yeah, just ended up turning into a mess. Then we got pushed to special 3. Usually I don't like going to special 3 in this matchup, because Fury just gets consumed and turned into a pustule, and then you can get poison from that. So yeah, sped it up because as you can see it's a long fight. We also had to do a lot of waiting out, so we didn't get any poisons on us. 1 or 2 poisons isn't a big deal, but I felt safe enough in the fight to just wait them out rather than spend an extra potion or 2. So this next fight up is Nova on node 11, again using Dr. Doom, who is easily the best counter for this matchup. So Nova here has Heavy Hitter, and as you can see he's being a bit annoying at the start. He's just going for medium heavy instead of medium light, so it took us a while to get our first opening, but obviously Doom can get knocked down off easily, and this is going to be a relatively quick fight now. We're in a rotation of just baiting out his special 1s, punishing them. And yeah, we've got to our special 3 here. Knock him down, go for this, and he should be down in a few seconds. And yeah, Nova goes down in around a minute. Pretty simple fight there for Doom. Next up is going to be this Mangog on node 19. And this fight has Ebb and Flow knockdown, Aggression Prowess, and right back at it. And this is just going to be another really basic Doom fight. Use a regen boost, just no real reason to be honest, just because I can. And yeah. So this fight's just going to be standard, get up to the special 3. I'm going to avoid finishing combos. I think I have a Mystic Boost active, I'm not entirely sure. But against Mangog, Mystic Boosts are pretty nice because it means you can do your normal Doom cycle easily without having to do 5 combos, which give him his hatred charges. There we do a 5 combo, probably shouldn't have done that because it gives him a hatred charge, which doesn't make a huge difference unless he reaches 10, which he's never really going to do against Doom because he's not going to get opportunities to use his special 1 really. However, it does just give him some additional energy resistance, which is going to prolong the fight by a few seconds. But yeah, this really is a fairly simple fight. And yeah, we do have Mystic Boost active, so yeah. Here we go for a special 2. Because of right back at it, the Incinerates are not going to apply. Here he annoyingly uses his own special 2, which is going to cost us a potion. But no big deal really. There we get the knockdown, throw the special 2 right before aura ends. First hit misses because he's still recovering from the heavy attack, but because it's unblockable it doesn't matter. And yeah, fight goes down pretty easily. So next up is going to be Nick Fury on node 23. I've done this fight a lot of times already this season, and I believe this is probably one of the messier solos if I remember correctly. So start of the fight, always try and push into special 2. You can bait out the special 2, but you don't really have to. Here he didn't use it initially, but he does use it this time. The main thing in the start of this fight is just trying to avoid that root getting on you. Now we're about to build up to our special 3, so we're in a pretty good position here. There he uses a heavy attack into the air, which is nice. It means that we don't have to bait out that special 2 or go for an intercept to get that last bit of power. And yeah, we're going to start the special spam cycle here. So he's about to get enough charges to go unblockable again. Probably could have used a special 2 there, it would have pretty much knocked him all the way into second life. But I decided to save up for another special 3. He's at 37%, so this cycle should bring him near enough into second life. We'll also get through this unblockable phase. We go for our special 2 here, that pushes him into second life. And this is the point of the fight that has the highest risk of you getting rooted, because he always plays really passive at the start of second life. Here we go for special 1 into special 2. Does some pretty good damage, going to take him down a bit below 30%. We're getting close to the point of the fight where we need dexterity because of bubble shield, because we're at 9 charges now. There we go for an intercept, he doesn't play into it. Now here, not the best position to be in. I decided to just spam special 1s here, push him out of unblockable. Yeah, I think I must have been thinking of the wrong Nick Fury fight in terms of the one where I messed up. Because this one is probably on the slower side of my fights against Nick Fury here. But it's been a pretty clean fight. And we're actually going to end at a full yellow. So yeah, it's a slower fight, but it was a pretty clean fight. Next up is going to be Nick Fury versus Fing on the Power Snack and Power Sting node. And this is going to be a relatively simple fight. Nick Fury's bleeds will control the rock stacks relatively well. Every 3 seconds, applying a bleed is going to remove 3 of his rock stacks, so we're not going to have to bait out nearly as many specials, which means we're not going to have to trigger Power Snack nearly as much. There we go for a heavy attack because it makes him more likely to throw a special. Not really going to be throwing many of my own specials in this matchup because of the Power Sting, and there's just not really that much benefit to it really. Believe I'm just going to save up to a special 3 and save it for an emergency situation if I get cornered. There for that special 2 I basically just spam dash back so that I can avoid triggering dexterity. It's getting somewhat close to 15 rock stacks at this point. So could have probably gone for 4 hits into the block there and then baited out a special at 15. But instead we're just going to keep playing it slowly. Here he does reach 15, bait out a special 1. And yeah, this is pretty much the entire fight. There's not a whole lot to it. We've got our special 3 as a safety net for if we get backed up a bit too much. So we are slowly getting closer and closer to our corner in this fight. But yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. And Finn goes down with a 4 yellow bar. So next up is going to be Annihilus on return policy, and also, don't know what the node's called, but he has a 200% prowess active. Now I knew going into this fight there was a relatively high chance I was going to eat a special 3 because of return policy. However, I only have 1 invulnerability boost going into this war, and we've got a relatively comfortable lead at this point, I believe. So I didn't use it here and decided to save it for the boss, and I basically forgot that Annihilus is power drain immune while the control rod is active. So we immediately hit a special 3, And with that 200% prowess, it takes off around 40% of Doom's health, which for a special 3 against Doom is an absolute ton of health. But considering that's basically 3 times the damage that it would normally deal, that just shows how safe Doom is. And now we've got him in the regular Doom cycle, we're in a pretty good position here. We could potentially tank another special 3 if we had to, but I don't believe we do. Just go for a special 2 here and this should pretty much finish him off. So it is going to cost us a couple of potions, but I decided that I would rather use the invulnerability later on in the war for the boss fight, rather than this one, because I just didn't think there was really a risk of death in that matchup. So next up is Scorpion on the prowess whenever he specials into your block node, and I believe when he has 3 prowess the special attack will be unblockable, and he's also going to place a disorient on us on our parry. So we're just going to be baiting out heavy attacks, medium, then 4 lights, and yeah, it's a very simple fight. He is going to get his Scorpion sense here, and because I didn't power start 1, I don't have enough tactical charges to stop the evade. So I believe he is going to evade and land a few hits against us here. Which again, it's a potion, but it's no big deal really. I'm not using my special there because I've got 2 sting debuffs active on me, and I would take a fair bit of damage from Scorpion's power sting mechanic. And yeah, goes down. Very simple fight for Nick Fury. He's pretty much just there to option split. So this fight is Chavez on Ebb & Flow Intercept, and this fight, it just takes a long time, this war, because I don't have a White Magneto pre-fight here, which normally you would want for this matchup. So the main thing that I'm going to be doing is punishing the first hit of her heavy rather than the second hit for the reverb, or letting her finish it. Now what that is going to do is, the first dimension lowers our fury potency, so it's going to extend this fight by quite a bit. However, it means that my power gain is going to be there. Special 2s are all going to be blockable if she does get them off. And yeah, it's a safe matchup. It's just going to be slow because I don't have the White Magneto pre-fight, so she is going to get heavies off in this fight. There I believe I was trying to intercept with a special 2, didn't land. And yeah, we're already over 2 minutes into the fight, over 100 hits, so yeah, can see why I sped this up. Finally land an intercept here, and the special 3 will finish it. So yeah, pretty clean fight, just slow. Then the next fight I've also decided to speed up. This is King Groot on Safeguard, and yeah, this is just a very standard matchup for Doom. The way I usually play it is I go to 1 special 3, try and throw off multiple special 2s while that Fury is active, and while King Groot does not have active Furies on him, so that the Incinerate stick. And yeah, it's going to take a bit longer. If I remember correctly, he randomly throws a special attack when I didn't really want him to in this fight. Yeah, there. So that is just going to delay me being able to get off my first special 2. And I only managed to get off 1 special 2 with that Fury active. So here I decide to save up for another special 3. And basically repeat the process to get him down. The only danger in this fight is if he throws a special 2 with the regeneration active, because the poison as well as the burst damage on that can kill Doom. But yeah, as long as you watch out for that, there's pretty much no risk in this fight. Here I'm just spamming special 1s. I think I'm honestly just seeing how many special 1s I can get off while that Fury's active. And yeah, he goes down. So this next fight is Spider-Ham on Node 53. I took this fight last war, and last war it ran pretty much perfectly. Finished it basically full health in like, I think it was a minute and a half at most. this war it is going to be one of my messiest fights of the season. So Nick Fury, strategy going in, is basically just medium, light ending combos. Throw your special 1 as soon as you get it. Bait out Spider-Ham's special 1 and counter that with a heavy. So start of the fight's going fine. Get the heavy counter here. Now usually what I do is I just throw the special 1 as soon as I get it, even if Spider-Ham is blocking. If it creates enough distance so that he can't really punish Nick Fury's special 1 even if I throw it into block. So it is safe to do. But here's where the fight starts going wrong. He gets his spider sense up, I don't notice it, and he evades. Then for some reason I don't heavy counter that special 1, not entirely sure why. And yeah, we're just glancing an absolute ton here. He's got 3 special 1s off before we've even managed to land a bleed. Yeah, we've got all the debuffs off, and now we're back into basically the position at the start of the fight. Throw our special 1 here. We do also actually have our evade counter active now, which is nice. So you can see there, he got his spider sense, but because we have 5 tactical charges, he didn't evade. We've lost the evade counter now, so we do need to keep an eye out for that. And of course, we don't, which is great. So yeah, this fight just is a bit of a mess. Heavy counter this special 1. Now he's building up all his spider sense charges, however we've got the evade counter, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, just evade failed there. Then again, for some reason I'm not heavy countering every special 1, even though the spacing on it is perfectly fine. Then we just drop our block for some reason. It wasn't an input issue at all, it's just me playing terrible. And yeah, we ate 12 hits in that fight and still came out with 50% health in our first life, mainly just because there's so much willpower healing in that matchup. But again, it's going to cost us potions because that was not Nick Fury's last fight. So this is going to be Quicksilver on Brute Force, Miniboss, and also Disorient on Parry. And this is just a very simple Nick Fury fight. I'm going to be baiting out heavy attacks and using my special 1s pretty much. But this war being this war, it's not going to go perfectly. And yeah, I think it happens pretty much around now. Yeah, here he's just not cooperating at all. He won't throw a heavy attack, doing full combos into my block. And then we just eat a special 2. Takes off 60% of our health, but Nick Fury, he's got 2 lives, it's not going to matter. And also because it has so many hits, it actually pushed us into our unblockable. And yeah, this is just a really safe, really simple fight with Nick Fury. There's pretty much no risk of dying as long as you're starting the fight in your first life. So now we're moving on to the final fight of the war, and that is this Null boss. We're using Symbiote Supreme as usual. And yeah, this fight, I believe the start of it goes well, and then we actually mess up later on into the fight, so you'll see that. But yeah, strategy for this remains as usual. Start off the fight by dexing 6 times, clear off the Living Abyss debuffs, and then you can block. And usually you don't get any more debuffs after that point, because whenever he puts Living Abyss through your block, you're also gaining the debuff detox charge in your block. So yeah, started the fight really clean. We're not even backed into our corner, which is a great position to be in. Now we just want to build up to our special 3, while pushing him to special 2s. Special 1 is not a huge threat, it just gives him the corruption, puts inverted controls. I'm not too bad at fighting inverted controls, so I'm not too concerned about him throwing a special 1 in this fight, but I'd rather push him to special 2 where possible. There we were just waiting for the adaptive buff to trigger and get staggered, so my genetic potential will go to max, and that will mean that we gain the full amount of power back after the special 3. But here, I didn't have a detox charge active, so he ends up throwing the special 2, and I get debuff. Then I get clipped again. I've got a permanent living abyss debuff on me, and he's unblockable. There, somehow I managed to full dex a special 1. I don't believe I've ever done that before. And now here, I'm waiting for the corruption timer to trigger. Somehow, again, dex a heavy in the corner. I've never done that before either, I don't think. So yeah, I've got no clue what was going on there. Just managed to fluke dex a special 1, the heavy in the corner. And yeah, I do have corruption on me now. Controls are inverted, but the fight is pretty much over. We're just in the special spam loop. So as for the result of this war, I believe we ended up winning 7-2. So it's a relatively comfortable win for us. I think we're ahead for pretty much the entire war. So it wasn't too stressful. Definitely a more expensive war for me, but yeah, pretty big war as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in War 10.